Master Ceremony, Mr. Trustman, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, this is a cut and dry case. It's a straight case, it's a simple case. We really wish to have more persons from Warner, from this community here this evening to bring the views. This is not just another talk shop by a new regime again and somebody coming to say, we cut off a talk shop. This is not us here coming to beat the past regime and what it didn't do and who could have done what, and that time has already passed and gone. The milk fall, we have to clean it up. We have to move forward. We have an opportunity before us, and I know many may have said it before, but we do have an opportunity before us by this present administration, by our present MP, Ernesto Kiza. I could tell you that because we have been having these discussions since maybe 2019, 2018. We have been having these discussions about Warden Community Center. However, during the campaign, I would have pledged that as long as we win, and when we win, we would deliver the community center. And this is the first of not much meeting. We intend to have much meeting when it comes to this community center. It is about time because we have beat this community center enough. We have full soil since 19 when, right? And some of us play politics with it. The politics is over, election has gone, and we have a new government in place. And we're seeing something happening within the first 6 months of taking office. Usually somebody may come 2 months before election, 2 days before elections, and do something. We are taking a frontal approach to bring this community center not just by talk, but by action. But I must say, even under the guise of community development, one thing that has to go in place is a village council or a community council. And it starts here with us. We ought not to be playing politics even with that. Because in a village council, the prime minister is not the prime minister when they walk into that meeting. The member of parliament, yes, he's the member of parliament, but when he comes into a village council meeting, he does not command, he or she does not command that meeting. Yes, we will give them respect because they hold office, but they are not commanding that meeting. This is what they want. When you come to a community or a village council meeting, you really come to hear what the people want because the people that put you in office, and they put you in office to work in their best interest. In the last dispensation, Mr. Kai was the president, myself was the vice president, Mr. Marshall had some position, I can't even remember what the position. Mr. Jerome was the man with the money, and he tied with it, didn't sell Lego money at all, but he was a good treasurer. This community council is still recognized under community development. So I still get emails at the different meetings in different places and different places. However, we have, I don't want to say I've gone past being on the committee or being the vice president of it, but I want to say that there comes a point in time when you have to pass the baton, that relay we run. But we need to get some of the younger people involved in what's happening in the community. Right? And we can't just talk, getting the young people involved and not trying to pass the baton to them, but we have to bring them. Right? I would have spoken to one or two of the young people in the past, before the elections, and trying to get this village council back up and running. However, a couple of them, involved in their education and not able to hold the reins, but are willing to serve at some level at some point in time. But we still have to do the work, right? So, in short, it won't be tonight, but we will have to have another meeting, we will have to have an election of officers to make this thing happen. My position in whatever takes place here is to continue to drive the wheel, put the oil in the thing, make sure the wheels turning smoothly, we set up as much as possible to ensure that we get a community center. Because that's one of my dreams, right? Unfortunately, my children didn't get to run and talk to some of them tracks in Wharton Road because of some of what's happening. I would have had the opportunity, and many of us would have had the opportunity to do that. But when we see what's happening, we leave our community to the ones to mash it up. And we say, well, boy, them fellas doing this and them girls doing that, and the young people this and the young people that. And we leave it in their hands. And that is not serving us anything, right? Our life and death is in the tongue. And we have to take back our community. We can't talk today about building a community center and then when we build it, it's because Bert wants to have the keys and he wants to keep the keys. Bert is the master, he's like he working in prison. No. When we have a community center, it is for the community. You can't build a community center and then lock up. Right? And we have to go like we have to go by Garnet. Because Garnet has the keys. He must control who go in the center and who use the center. No, this is not what this is about. This is about doing what we have to do to build our community center, to get our community center, to bring our community. We are the longest community for important. We take from Point Junction all the way up to the village. The longest. And so we have, on the other side, we have Egypt, we have Hollywood, we have Alexander Street, we go with New Village, we have East Street. Right? So there's much work to be done, and there's a little time to do. If we could get our community center before the first 3 years completed, we would have done well. I would feel good. I could say, Ghana, the next 5 years, or if all the things are both our way, both our way. But this thing is not about that. This thing is about ensuring that our community gets what it deserves, and we deserve a community center. Right? So, hopefully, in a little while, we'll have our MP joining us. Right? Not too long from now. Tuning tomorrow as well. You will be in Parliament tomorrow, God willing, opening the debate. And, the budget debate kicks off. But take note and be rest assured that every ounce of your vision, I know here you all are not technocrats, you all are not architects, and so on. But I create out that context there, because some of them might well have these skills and I didn't do it, so forgive me. But we need to say what we want. Gone are the days when somebody comes and just put on something and say, take that. Yeah. It is time that we, the people, have an input into what is given unto us. And hence the reason why we are having this consultation, to get your view, your feedback. Because your feedback will be taken, noted, duly noted, compiled, and that report will go to the Honorable Michelle Benjamin, that will look at our proposal, what we bring forward, and Point 14 has been contributing to the GDP of this country, and we continue to do so. Recently, I was going on the highway just about the new pizza highway was just finished about just after 6 in the morning. And I tell my daughter, just as we pass that Granville, that the Grand Trace overpass, we pass it. I say, we're seeing in the distance. Tell me where you're seeing. That's two guys in front of me. They always see two guys in front of me. They look good and tell me where you're seeing. I understand what she's seeing. I say, look at the traffic. Everything coming down. I say, if you're here this evening, about 5 o'clock, while you're going down, everything goes up. So everything coming down, they come in to take what we have, and in the evening they go on with it. And then so that dollar is not circulating yet. But we have to see something for point fourteen. We have to see some other money staying in point fourteen. Kavi have the business day, we have to support Kavi business. You understand? That's why we here. But that dollar has to stay here, circulate 3, 4, 5, 6 times before it leaves the community. We have to understand that. And having our community center here, Kavi right here, we may put some other businesses around. You know, somebody doing a little something, somebody said a little, should I take a little program, something. You know, things happening right there in the community center. So without further ado, I know I had a short time. Thank you for the short, concise kind of thing. And you may just hear me before the evening. Thank you, Mr. Tom. I would just want to add on to the fact that when you spoke about we need new blood, young blood, to come to the fore and take up the mantle and carry this thing forward. Because I remember I was still at school, finishing my A-level, and I was vice president of the Consultation. That was back in 1970. How many of you were born here? That was a long time ago. And we proceeded to go on. Now, it was the British Council in Waterloo that enabled us to get street lights, water, the completion of the road. Because as a child, what was in Waterloo? We didn't have a road. The road didn't reach here. The road is stuck somewhere down the road by Market. That's harder than this. So we had all these things to contend with. Our first British Council meetings were held under that house by where, no, the so-called, Cornwall. Cornwall House, that was the first meeting of the British Council in China. You understand? The first president was Mr. Paul, Brother Paul. You understand? Our first secretary was a gentleman, Mr. Ford. And after that, we had many people come and go. And I was lucky to pass through this. I was always saying, the training I got in these institutions contributed to where I reached in my career and in my life. Places, that's what I'm saying. All of these contributed to where you reach. And I'm saying that we have an opportunity now for young people to step forward. We ain't saying that we want to discard the older ones, you know, but the people, you are the future decision makers of Trinidad and Tobago. The next 10 years, you are the one making decisions for me. You understand? So therefore, you have to step forward and hone your skills and come forward. Now, having said all of this, we want now, I would like to hear from the people. This is the most important thing. Hearing what the people have to say. Remember, British Council is not about politics, it is not about religion. It is just about people coming together to talk about the issues, talk about the wants and their needs, and let us see how best we could have a better community in this point 14 area. Many things happened here. Besides having just meetings, we had that village. We were one of the stronger contenders in that village over in that period. In that period from 1980 to about 1985. We had that going there. And if we did it in a shed, then if we have a proper community council, then it will be better than what we have. And we have the people and you all have the skills, the ability, the younger ones. I'm always talking about the younger ones. Because you are the future. So I think the floor will now be open and contributions could be made by anyone who so desires. So leave this happening. So if you want to use the mic, you can come forward and use the mic. So the floor is open. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Randolph Cartwright here. He's supposed to be president of the United States that was existing. And tonight I want to endorse everything that Mr. Garnett and Mr. Trotman has said. One will really need a community center. And I used to remember when I was a little boy, my father was the president of the village council, Mr. Donald Jerome, being the vice president. And there was a talk at one time, suppose they had seaside center in Waterloo. I was a little boy, my father will be 93 years next month. I know 63, so that will just give you an idea of how long that was. But I think we do need this time for us to get serious. This is the time for us to get together. This is the time that we should take advantage of whatever opportunity that comes before. We see now that one will be developing people-wise, but every day I see strange faces again. We see young ones, old ones. And we need to do something positive for the youth in the community. It's about time that we step forward, the elder ones set the example for the younger ones to follow. And let us take the younger ones into the future on a positive note. Mr. Garnett and myself, we used to talk about a lot of ideas. Never get a chance to really do it forward. But at least now we have a chance to actually do that. And we need to spread the word. We need to try and get people more together. We need to come out, support, and we need to rally behind those people who are willing to help us to get that community center. It's about time. I would really like to see that. I have grandchildren of my own. One of the 16 years next week Tuesday. And a lot of the youth have been in my certain things in the world. I was privy to a lot of things, running, playing. You don't see youth and them doing that. A little small ball football, a little cricket, a little windball. So we don't play windball cricket in the road. You don't see those things happening. So we need to really step forward and we really need to do what we're supposed to do to get this community center. And I am willing to support whoever, whatever, in any way possible to achieve that. And I'm hoping that you, all who are here tonight, willing to do the same. So with that, I want to thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for giving us an air. And we hope that we see progress and we see this community come to be one we become. Let that be soon in the future. Thank you very much and have a pleasant day.
Thank you, Mr. Kanai. Remember, Troy is open joining and but he wishes to make a contribution.
Good night, everyone. What is your name? I will just more or less have a few-part suggestion. One, I was made to understand that the sun has been already tuned for this community center, right? And as such, it means that it would have already have architectural drawings and whatever, right? Trees, they would have already budgeted. So let me start from getting those things through and then adding as the case goes forward. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Robert. Mr. Marcel, good night. Good night, everyone. Good night, everybody. Everybody talking about you, but everybody don't know this. But right now, we suffering with a problem on the ground at Kennedy Road, where big trucks, cars, coming through the ground while we playing. Little children, I ask all kind of, so when people talking about young people, I just feel rejected. All it means is a barrier to stop them cars and then from coming over. Talk to counselor, talk to nobody. So sometimes I just say, we just don't talk. Next problem I have is somewhere between the 80s. This land here, we pay money underneath a house down the road to get this land. 20 meters feet below the house. You pay money in the bank. I don't know if some old people must be here, they know what I'm talking about. They told me that we could get the land that we could have moved in the bank. And I did on that because I got money. Up to this day. And nobody seems to tell me nothing about it. I want to stay away from the community center because plenty of people talking about community center. My idea about community center, this business that is up here, we want about 10 business going straight down here and the community center in the back. And we could rent out it. And who ain't paying rent for them out and get an next person. That's my idea.
You play for a spin at all.
You understand? Because it's have young people who could sew, young people in barber, it's have young people who do all that of things. Not only building community center. And that was said already. I went to the highest level already and so forth and said, and yes, you know, Michael is a kind of new writing in it. You know? The next thing we have two more things I want to speak about. I want to speak about the personal service that we get from the post office. The people living in the back, for some reason, they doesn't go to the back, to the family. It needs a next person inside of here to work on the two sides so that it could go down to the back and deliver meals. Same way as cutting at the grass in the road. You people to the back who pay tax just as everybody else doesn't get that kind of service. If they go to in my road right now, they go sky so. Right? So that is one of the things I would like to see take place. Seeing about the people to the back. Right? And the next thing I want to talk about, as I was talking about, is the leasing of the land. We need to get that land. We need to get that land on our name so we can pass it on to our children. Some people are doing a comfort, some people don't have. We need the government to deal with that issue. I want to thank everybody. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. I could add to the fact that when this land issue, although it's not what we're speaking about it much tonight, but at that point in time, I was chairman of the mobilization committee. We were looking after, we put forward to the proposal for the land, and we had come to a price structure for the land. But as in many things, it went talk and it went to north. But being that as it may, I just want to add before we move forward, maybe we can add on this. I am chairing a committee for the Member of Parliament of Education. And one of the things that, looking at the text, is that, and the Member of Parliament has indicated to us, that one of the things that we want to see in every village that has a community center, he wants to establish a homework center. Most are home first and foremost. We want to establish programs for adults that will be able to enhance their skills so that it could become money earning, or you could do it for your own personal enhancement. Because when we had that center there, that wooden structure, that mud structure, community development, you saw courses in there. A lot of courses, and a lot of people, our parents, grandparents, went there and learned a lot of skills. Today, we see many of these skills falling away. So that's one of the things you could know, even enlarge on what I'm saying. What do you want to see when we have a community center? What are the things you want to happen in the community? Mr. P?
Bless the night, ladies and gentlemen. You will see this with the name. Again, I must say, Vice President of Twin Trade Community. This is again, Village Council. You notice how I forget the name just like that. You have a lot of village council around the place, and like your conservation, politics tend to play a serious role so everything becomes stagnant. So something I like what it starts with is that we're encouraging the people to don't tie politics into what we're dealing with going forward. And religion into what we're dealing with going forward. The next conversation, I think it's time for we to be real and reasonable with what it is we're dealing with. Because if we actually look at the entire diaspora of just Wardrobe, let me keep it to Wardrobe, the amount of gifting and the amount of talent that we have. And factually, a community center, Ghana person, I thank you all for the initiative of continuing this project. I thank you all because it is needed. But when you actually look at what this is right there, and I see how over the years, yes, I see how over the years, reach out to our children and what's next. She try home my help. But again, nobody did. Community center will be a more centralized place again. As we talk about cash, we talk about encouraging. And next thing that I like, we talk about incorporating other businesses in our circle. Because we understand if you look, the history of our world has never been spoken. We're talking cricket. All these things and we have young fellas on the corner just chilling hours because they don't understand where they live in, they don't understand the history of what they're living in. This community center will have a serious structure of actually bringing back and feeding the history of what it is to be young. And also the elderly brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, we honestly need an opportunity. People like Mr. Chucky and them can't close their eyes. People like the sister here and the brother here can't close their eyes. Because we are young people just looking on and thinking that is it. Can we have opportunities and for ourselves become point and the door would never open for us. And we just watch it and the high things, everybody just pulls square right now because there's no way for nobody to actually formulate something. And over the years, this space has always been needed. My solicitor talk about some money with the land situation and all of that, but asking that we actually move forward collectively as a unit. But I pray that the young people, I pray that the elderly people, I pray that everybody in Waterloo would come together and support and push this initiative. This is needed and this has been needed for years. And this is my contribution.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Mr. Felix. Alright, as it relates to what Mr. Mike was asking in terms of land tenure, it was part of our campaign, if you want to say that a manifesto, something in our campaign that we spoke about. And I can tell you, and I want to say this to the resident, I live on road too. Fortunately for me, I am one of the people that have a visa because I used to be an agriculture. I'm not that old, but I used to be an agriculture. And I had the opportunity to get a visa comfort, to which because we didn't give a permission to still some of the things. But having the opportunity to do some of the things within the country and a lot of conversation that everything that we do is for God. We were in Lakeview last night, and I've never heard an MP before. 5 went before, he's the 5th MP since that Lakeview project. So we would have had Larry Atron, we have Paul Agopi School, we have Edmund Dillon, we have Kennedy Richard, and now we have Ernesto Keita. And I don't know if anyone had done before. I could recall, and I could talk with any way she could take my support if she wants. But I went to Paul Agopi School, then MP, whilst that was under construction. And I had literally begged, Madam MP, please go into this. Do a tour there and see what's being done there. The kind of shoddy work that's being done. That is not. I then went to her and said, Madam MP, discount the house and give it up. Because at that time, the former Prime Minister was boasting that he built 26,000 houses. So he didn't give out none. But I asked that discount the houses and then give it out to the people. That is it. And it was under the new, at that time, the People's Partnership in 2010, they started giving out the houses. Under my inclusion, they started discounting the houses and they gave it out. But the people suffering today with the condition here. I've never heard an MP beg people to give him work. I have an MP begging people to give him work. And I didn't start, I studied last night. And we said, because this MP said, hey, form a tenant association. Do this. And when we left there last night, there was not a tenant association. And I believe that there was enough people. I'm not bashing anybody. I know some of them might think and say, well, it's not bashing. Me bashing it. But that's my humble opinion. There are enough people there that a tenant association is before. I am saying, even right here in Morgan, we have a MP, a member of parliament, who is begging to give him money. That never happened. We don't have a representative begging to get work. We have a representative. I say I ain't slamming nobody tonight, so I'm not. But we have some people who is in office and not doing anything.
Quite so.
Right? We have a corporation that's run under the CNN, all six, and I have people coming to tell me they have this issue that rain and they want the MPs about it. That's the boring work. Look at the MP work.
One right by your junction. Right? Just one right by your junction.
But it just is what it is. But we have an MP now that is begging us to give him work to do. We have an MP who is not saying, work with me. We have an MP saying, I want to work with you. And we should take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So yes, I trust and hope that before the 5 year, 10 years is over, some of us will be coming right back in that community center after it is built and say that we get a community center and we have title. If we get a deed of ownership, but at least work towards a deed of lease. With a deed of lease, they can at least take that to the bank. It is still transferred. This is what I'm looking here. I want to be able to transfer something that they could take to the bank. Right? That they have a little ownership, they have a little pride, they could do something with it and people, and nobody can come and take that from them unless they give it up. So again, the floor is open.
Just, ladies and gentlemen, we asked to
Go back in the case.
but that land situation, as I said, I led the charge. Water Road was to have become regularized within Bacadere, Bliss Village. And these communities have been regularized. All the roads and things that you see on the side and you put Guru Street and this and that, they were not there before. And they put that to regularize. We had come to the, we had
set up a committee which I chaired, and we asked, and we told the people that, listen, we were asking for $14,000 to pay for the lot of land. $14,000. They were asking us for something like 30 something $1,000 for the lot of land. Our argument was that what was developed by the people putting their effort to bring infrastructure into what etc., etc. A lot of, and then they came back from you, they said I was fighting the government. When they say that, I tell you that kind of, you're fighting for people who couldn't even pay the $14,000. They were in agreement to pay 20 something thousand dollars for the salary. You understand? Some people are their own worst enemy. Some people are their own worst enemy. Otherwise, you would have had it. But then again, the political director sometimes you get to know what you do. It's nothing to enhance and whatnot and whatnot. We were seeing it. And I decided that but at the end of the day, this is not what this is all about. I just thought I would want to bring this clarity to the situation. Because I've been here a long time, I've been around a long time. I can't say what they is. I forget that kind of. The thing about it is that, listen, we have always been fighting for the community. We have always been fighting to make the things happen. But the community center is important. People we want to hear to say what it is you want for a community center, what it is that you want to happen. Because, as I said, I want to incorporate some of the programs that you want to see. When I present, I have until the end of the month to present a report to the MP so that I want to say, listen, this community center will know we want to have X, we want to have Y, we want to have this, we want to have that. You understand? So that we'll be able to say, well, listen, we are moving forward. Because the MP is pushing to build 2 community centers in point, which is this thing. Warden Road and Chesterfield. So that we have to try to see, before I leave this place, I would want to see this Warden Road Community Center, and we have effective programs running so that we have a better community before it's over. Before it's over, then you are among your people, you are among your peers, and it is your to come and see what the people have done. Because as I always say, I have gone over the corner, I've gone around the corner. You understand? And there are some people coming up on the street road. So you are the ones to come and make your contribution.
Something that the young men in the community is actually concerned about. I'm going to say over the years in Point Fortune especially, people normally just drive in with a truck. Just like what the lady calls them before you expect to go up, and then you just pass it and you see what's being done. What is being asked, especially from the boy in the back there, is that when this project is going to start, the young fellas in Warden Road be given an opportunity for first preference. Right. So we are carpenters, we are masons, we are laborers, we are everything. We are builders. So despite who don't get the contract, the responsibility, matter of fact, our MP responsibility, Garnet, and you, and Mr. Churchill, we have to make sure that they stick to that. Because 1 year, all we have to say continue driving.
And I would want to add that we have always fought for, and our MP, one of the things he's always talking about is local content. Local content. Even when they were putting on the infrastructure, the drain, the roads inside here, I always fought for local content. I always fought for the people inside here to ensure that they were given perfect jobs on the projects inside here. We always fought for that. And nothing will happen in Warden Road if we don't have local content taking part in developing the area. You understand? I have noticed that when you put local content in place, people take a greater pride in what will happen. So before it's local.
That's on the night everybody, that's on the night, we have people. I'm going to start by saying that if I could get on this mic tonight, Everybody in this audience has to do that, right? I am not gifted to be a public speaker as much as my husband is. So just bear with me, my voice trembles a little bit. All right. So the second, I want to take the topic tonight, which is the water road and environment, Egypt, Point Eagle, East Street Extension, and so on, community center. And when I think about community center, I think about it in three categories. And this is infrastructurally, administratively, and also in terms of the activities and programs. The consistency of it, I would say, that the residents are concerned about, like, yes, we need a community center, but we have to make sure that we have programs in place and so on. So let me start with infrastructure. I beg to differ slightly a bit with the gentleman, and he tried to have indicated that the sod was already turned, yes, and there would have been probably a blueprint already in terms of the design of this facility. Nonetheless, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, in particular, Ward and Consultation, have received minimum, but we have received things in the past that we weren't too happy with. If I'm to give you a criteria, I have to know if you like chocolate, vanilla, or marble, right? We need to cater, the leaders need to cater to the specific needs of the residents in the area. So some of the things that I'm thinking that would benefit the residents of Warden Road would be definitely a classroom setting. As Mr. Trotman would have mentioned, he is chairing education committee classroom setting. So that things like Spanish, of course, the homework center, literacy, and these types of things, even sign language probably could be taught. Many of us will have family members and friends who do not communicate or learn at the same speed and level as us, and we need to be able to reach those with autism and that kind of thing. So that is one classroom setting, kitchen settings, of course, and we need to get down into the nitty-gritty of the actual design. So I believe this is some of what we would like to hear from the audience in these consultations, the actual design. The color of the building doesn't matter, the outside, the exterior of the building doesn't matter. Of course, parking is necessary, but the actual design, the plan out of the building, kitchen, classroom, a nice big auditorium, if you have a cultural event, hosting, showcasing the residents and so on like that. So that is that. Administratively, I heard this and I endorsed this idea, which is, let's start with this one. One, I respect those that were a part of the committee, Warlord committee, who will say that listen, we have moved on to other things, we are not as young as we were, and we are urging the younger ones to get involved. So I am endorsing that a committee be a fresh committee, be activated, but of course we want to have the more experienced ones involved, like find out when was the last election, when is the next AGM, is there going to be, we're not leaving here tonight with at least getting a rough idea how we're moving forward, how you all are moving forward as the Warden Road Committee, because we need to be able to tap into, and this brings me to my next point, which is the activities and programs. We need to be able to tap into the resource of community development. Community development always have something going on. They always have something to offer, and in order for us to benefit from it, we must have a legitimate committee. And this is just my point tonight. Administratively, again, I just would like to say that if we have a village council / committee, as we call it today, active, persons could volunteer or persons could probably be subsidized in some way or the other, raise funds, whatever we have to do. We could get janitors on board so that we can maintain the facility, keep the windows clean, the toilets fresh, and that kind of thing, so that the more hours to the day we can have the community center active, it will be better for each and every one of us.
Thank you, my dear. All right. So then, find a woman talk and tell people. Those who don't know me, you may not tell them names.
or Brother Chief. I want to walk at the front row. I heard the last speaker, that's why we like women in. Because all the man and them talk before, none of them will say what she said. Yes, we're here tonight. But who is good that going and take care of this thing that we're talking about? I hear a man say he used to be the president, then somebody else was the vice president. That tells me that this thing is functioning. So it means that we have to start by organizing a welfare council to start the thing again. You know? 1. 2. We will need to, I don't hear you. We will need to decide the area that is to be covered by this welfare council. I said something the other night and I'm going and say it again. When I came to Point Elizabeth about 40 years ago, TNA Road wasn't Condigo, Hollywood, and Warden Road had a love. Because people from Condigo used to boil the thing somewhere in the back road. And all of you used to drink the thing. What? Aye. Like we stop boiling the thing. So we need to start boiling the thing again and make sure that the love exists. So I am suggesting that when we're talking community center welfare council, it incorporates Point Legal, Hollywood, Warden Road, and you could decide to try to cut it off with New Village, and if you feel you want to go Lakeview. Because I think, yes, it has some track coming through to end up inside, so them is part of the thing. We need to do that. Because if we all come together and we stretch the thing, it will make us stronger going forward. Yes, I agree we need to sit down and decide how and what kind of community center we want. Because I see they putting up some community centers, and when I watch them, I feel it's office structure. I see how those buildings to accommodate community activities. We need to decide once and for all what kind of buildings we put down for what kind of activity. Secondly, I think we spend too much money putting down buildings and then nobody is taking care of the buildings and the buildings deteriorating. So I think one of the things that needs to happen, and we must tell the MP this, is for the whole community development ministry start to have some facility managers in all the offices whose responsibility is to mark the buildings they're going down and ensure that they are taken care of so that they do deteriorate. Because it will always have people who feel these community centers demos. You can't change that. But I did work hard to build this community center, so they take a personal responsibility and sometimes they stretch it too far. So they start feeling them building. Because that a community center in Point, as far as I could remember. And it ended up as a depression. And the other day, somebody telling me that building is somebody building. But I want to know how that became, whoever building it became. They claiming it's demo. We need to ensure as a people that we understand the system under which we operate and deal with it. Because community centers are supposed to be the property of the community in which it is built. And no group of people is supposed to claim ownership. So we have to deal with that from now. And you know what it is? You know, there are those of us who, because we just study agreement and the fight, we don't always going to have a hands-on that because it's weak. All of us can't own it, but all of us could ensure that we look after it. Right? So again, I am saying, so those who were officers in a group called a village council in Warden Road, those who were officers, that when they meet and talk and start to organize, and I'm saying this, what if every single house in the area where you want to operate in? It will take some time. But if it has 10 of you all, and you already divide yourself into two, it means 5 groups of people will be fulfilled. And it doesn't take as long as it is 10 or you have to do. And I think that is necessary if you all are really interested in community together. That is all I want to say for now. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. James, for your contribution. Please remember, the floor is still open. Notwithstanding the fact that Mr. James has wanted to encourage for people to come back and contribute. We are not at a birthday, but we want to see young people coming forward to take the challenge. You understand? I would like to see younger people, not students, coming forward, take the challenge to ensure that we have a better community. Because when we don't do things, our community falls into decay, and then we, all of us who live in the community, are the ones that create the challenges later on the road. So we need people to come forward and take up the mantle, take up leadership positions. This is how you grow young. You start here and you move on to other things and you grow to wherever you need to be. All right, so the floor is still open. Now the member of parliament is on his way. So we are hoping that I don't want to leave you void and we have blank time. We want people to come and contribute. So what I think talking about things, we mentioned community development. But the thing about community development that I dislike is that they come and tell you what course they're going to give you. What are the programs they're going to put for you? No, I have a problem with that. I have a real...
No, they don't do that anymore. They ask, they have a very strong interest.
Because all right.
Oh, yes, so it's your chance to talk. It's your chance to talk. It's your chance to talk. No.
Nice, everybody. I'm a daughter of the soil, grew up right behind where the center was. I didn't want to come here, but after protection to the song, community development. The name doesn't matter.
No. Mr. Chairman, the rules is no.
Then my name is Sheriam. Concerning the court, as Profi said, give them what they want to give them. No. I'm a part of a village council where I live. We have a village council, and they ask the village council what course they want in the village. So what we do is we have a meeting, gather the majority of people, find out what courses the young people especially would like to have. We go with a vote. Sometimes they get about 2 or 3 different courses. They go to a vote, community development take it up, and if they have a tutor for that course, they bring the course in the village. Understand? So that is how it goes. I want to elaborate a little on the community centers and here one time. From experience, I want to give the MP, whoever in charge of this community center, when you are going to build the community center, you don't just come in. The majority of times, like where I live now, I'm not calling on him. You're just moving with the contractor. They notify the village that we're going to start to do this project. You all have any young people? If you don't have any young people don't have a trade, they can take out them done. They can start, right? They don't bypass the village. The young people, especially in the village, because they could have a good fight for that. And we don't want no fighting and quarreling and bombing cars and them kind of things. So you start with the ground root. You're coming to do something in the village, please call a meeting. Notify the people, the young people especially. Sometimes they don't come out and nobody in the house listening. Right? You notify them what's going on. Who don't have a trade, okay, we're going on study trench. Anybody willing to come to study trench? Yeah. So at least they don't have that time. They don't just move in with tractor, this, that's where the contractors, and all they just coming to do all they want, and all they're doing is trailer. It don't work so, especially with the young people to do. Right? That's all I have to say.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for enlightening me on community development and how they operate. I have been complaining so many times about community development and courses that and relevant of the courses to the community and how, because people and everything now, whatever you do, whatever skill you acquire, you need to see how you can monetize it. How it could be beneficial to you, how it could be beneficial to your home, how it could be beneficial to your community. And you want to have programs, courses, whatever it is. Because we are in the age of computers, we are in the age of artificial intelligence, and we have young people who born with a chip in their head. So we have to be able to understand what is happening in our world today. With all of that, it doesn't take away common sense and reason. But we have to be able to embrace. Can't be afraid of the technology, we have to embrace the technology. I think it would forward everything. Yes, people, it is there for us to see, and I like the point that was made about trying to put together a committee that will be able to start the thing and go forward. Rather, again, I will always talk about welcoming younger people to come step forward. From our crowd is not very large tonight because based on Warden Road is one of the most populated area in point based on first person. We have Warden Road are real people. Real people. Every day you see a new person. But the thing about it, you have to get them come out. You have to get them out and contribute towards your community. Say what they want. Yes.
My name is Carlos Gonzalez. So my goal and goal is just to move up for a while. One thing I noticed in Port area, as I look industry class, people are around the area far away from Warden Road, far away from Point. Point as it doesn't know its development. And the area for Warden Road doesn't allow much development. And you know why? We sit down too quietly. This infrastructure was here for a while to make this the other thing is done, because you know why? We sit down too quietly. It will continue. I hear we talk about all this time. We talk about more than 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, and nothing about, because you know why? This can't go on forever. So the road will be like that. And then I think about it, but the reality is this. If you sit down here and don't say nothing and let everything pass through, continue doing the same thing over and over again. The definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Why I say that I have friends living out of the area and they live when electricity started in textile, and the joke is that point for them people to joke. You know why? If you go to Pina, the only thing that they are doing right now is that you're not going to be one and make it city. The reason why Warden Road are allowing these things to happen here, we are in functions on our area, we fix the road, we do the light, we run the area. In certain parts, we had a meeting, so down this area,
some people in parliament, and he actually left. I was one of the guys in the meeting, had to wake him up. Because if you have to understand this, I'm not against the people who are experienced and have age. But if you have a lot of age, that means you have a lot of memories. So you can have a lot of vision. So my problem is that we sitting out here having a meetings all can fine. We have a discussion about a community center. All can fine, yes, but so many people might take some information, yes, but we're actually the core information, the people who bring forward. That's helping them. The business right next door, it's what people don't know. I can tell you, one of my friends for like $100,000 from a person who lives right in this area here, signing their check. Fast government check, I'm telling you, a grant. And the person who actually signed the check is from the area. And how much people in Point Button getting it? You know what you need in Point Button, the warning about to support a community center? Supporting stabilized businesses. How could you get business to come and rent here? But yet you can't get a business loan in Point. Think about what I'm telling you. You go to Pinal, you go to any other place in China, they go up. Funding is accessible. We don't know what lend, but about these ideas, how much people have given access to those things. The problem is that the information has been given by the people, and we talking here and people passing it because they know why. They're not being drawn to it. We had a conversation about this same community center last year in one road long way by Pastor Taylor. And the conversation, what I'm telling you, is that they're trying to bring farmers and this kind of thing. We're trying to get involved, right? But how could you get involved with telling children and showing children, hey, why I don't have no future? But we in Waterloo by Austin in Tuesday, we had a farming program. I run a scaffolding course for free with my material. For free. You know why I did that? Because I have 3 kids. I'm telling you, we sitting down here and having a conversation, it's all fair and fine with the older guys talking about our village council. But these guys are going to throw to everybody which is only fit NIS age. Everybody which NIS age, no guys talking here, that joke and fun, but the reality is that, you know, we're not you. And what we're going to do right here, we're just commenting on that. We have a philosophy of building things all over the world, but maintenance is their issue. If you don't know this, the law has changed 5-10 years ago. The village council, people who are running the community centers have to maintain the light bill, the water rate, the maintenance of the property, all those things, you know. But you know why? Every institution, every government institution is complaining about not enough funding. So how are we going to, like some of us say about the businesses? Yes. But how can you bring the business here and they do have a fund, they don't have to make a mentor them? How can you draw the people closer? It's our farmers in this country right now are living better than people who work in industry countries. You know why? They made investment. And point I realized when I came down the water road, because matter, but you know the problem. The system doesn't work towards the money grow. So if you realize something when the guy is showing John past this, what he said, it's when bamboo was built, it was a generational wealth. His grandfather would have given his kids. How much of us going to leave something for our kids? I understand that we said that I was all for it, but my thing is that what if we move forward to reach to that stage? Because as a father, the keys, everybody, all over the things I have already keys. But the technology, it's simple as having an email address. You send out, my father, if you want to send a request to the phone, you send that, you send my email. And they do it for that time, man, you give them. Now, the starting matter still remains at the end of the day, if you get somebody in the area, so you have an intelligence, or you run a business, and so that if you're interested in the people in this. But if you're not giving the people them that support or we're not going in a direction, they help to go forward, you're going to remain the same enough. But I show my partner with the shop and struggling thing. You know why? You know, the community, you know. Because you have a support system. You will not pass it the same way. And when you go game problem and you have money, then I will take something. So if I'm wrong, everybody have an idea. Not everybody could go to school and learn and do something and work for something. You know. Somebody has to develop the team and do a skill. Something. But if you do have a support system, how could you get it done at the end of the day? So I'm asking you, what is you doing to support the business in the area? Because the same businesses will help the children to go to school. You cannot pass on your job, you pass on a job. When you have business, you can pass on that to your family. There's a guy who came to Point 14 in the early on the years, I think Henry Joy. You know what that guy is? and Dunlop. And he braced a guy when he was years ago, a wooden wheel, and changed into rubber. We manufacturing things in point for the hotel, little farm, and other stretches of the reality is this. There are small people in the area that doing things, and because of the lack of support and the finance, probably more the government gives us about that. The reality is that they need money to do things. They have farmers in market is so important, but they're still whatever is the longest road in point right now. They have no farming going on here to see. They have a large area to go and buy the food. They go around. So what we do here, the reality is that it's just going on to the stores all elsewhere. But make sure they contact with within the area and deal with them because you know what? Here is technical local group. Here is higher employ people directly and indirectly. That's what you need. You need to employ people and more, get on to them. Sometimes at the end of the day, I understand we're trying to get things done, but the reality is that can get people on the ground. Because as I say, you can never committee center for somebody outside giving you ideas, one can try. But we have to use that in the day. That's a contribution, very good.
Thank you, Mr. Ron. Again, we want to add quite rightly, our community center must suit the needs of the people of Warden Road and environment. We want people to make that contribution. And we don't want a few to make the contribution for the majority. And then at the end of the day, you will hear the talk that they have no input in it. We want people to have an input in their future. What is the vision that you have for your community? What is it you want for your community? You understand? I might have a vision, but my vision might be about 40 years outdated. You have people who are here. No, the future is yours. The future is yours. So you are the ones who have to make the contribution to ensure that you have a better community and a better way of life. So people, before it's open, anybody have a contribution they want to make? There are some people I'm looking at and I expected that they will make a contribution. But I'm not seeing them coming forward. These ones who grew up under us and supposed to you would have learned a lot. You know what
No, anything to do with money, I can win lots, eh? If it's one thing, now, let me tell you something about Kevin, eh? Kevin, this is not about you, but not about well, we had our council, we had a fundraiser. Kevin had all the money, Kevin needs money to do X, Y, Kevin say, well, I have all that fundraiser to get our money, I get our money from Kevin.
You are attacking.
No, I'm not attacking him.
I was on the committee.
But you see, he's a treasurer that you're sure your money stays there. It was accounted for. If it's one thing, tied to the money, but it's well accounted for.
So your money still there?
No.
I just want to know.
No, you take the money and go out and fix no this and that. But the money was used because we have done a lot of things. Now, let me tell you how stupid I is. I feel like this stupidest man if I don't know. That's my conclusion. And maybe why I say, I hang up my gloves, I will enter in part and work with whichever committee come in place because I ain't going home. Still living on the road, I ain't plan to move and go home. But we had our fundraiser one time. And I would have brought the soap. Janet bring everything else, and you have a car wash. So I wash in car, I wash in everybody's car when we come. When I pay to wash my own car, and wash it, I pay $40 to wash my own car. It's like I really love this community.
Right.
I pay so much for the whole time. But, so I want to go back to the community center because the reason why we're here, because we still have a human inside. So, earlier on when we said that we had a Thursday ceremony, and I was saying was praying, we have a different time. So once you have a Thursday ceremony, you're supposed to have that. And I agree with you, you're supposed to have that. And I can't tell you that this happened because when that Thursday ceremony took place, that was like somewhere in the late 90s. You know, I usually Makaya. Then these are still on the block here line. Makaya. Couldn't watch Dhaka. But joining the council and being part of it, I was able to watch people at that time. Right? And sometimes I would say, can I shook it just like me? So we were like two, I don't know, Kinky and the game because we're going on the road taking shoes. Sometimes we plan to say, well, we go in this meeting, not jumping out there. Staying quiet. Good night. Staying quiet. Going and talk fundraiser, and not saying nothing. And as the throughout the thing, the Kevin always types, he ain't saying nothing. Me and Kana can't sit down before I will jump out or Kana will jump out. If I jump out first, Kana jump out behind me. If Kana jump out first, I jump out behind me. You know when you're done, you may do everything. That's how much I like my community. But I still want to hear what and how we want community center. Because I mean, I hear all the other things, but I really want to get insight. And I know we hear a little while, and I really want to close off just now. If the MP reach, we happy. If he didn't reach, well, he just didn't reach. But I know that he's supposed to be here. I know where he is. I know what's going on with him. I hope that he can reach here before we close off. But me ain't trying to make nobody fall asleep here. I ain't trying to bore nobody. But if we could start this thing as the old people say, then we get the ball rolling. Ball rolling is the start, as the sister would have said a while ago. If we have to put in a little watch group in place to start the thing, then we do that. We don't know what people do. If we're willing to do that, then we start. Yes, sir.
I believe the village council what it have right now, because you won't get no young people to come right. Yes, I know I see. No young people ain't coming. I know I see. I just deal with the young people. They ain't coming right now. You have to put something in place for the to come. So I say the board that it have come together and start to pulling people. This man had an idea. We were saying that we need to move out, come together, and we start to move out. And then we call an election when we have some young people. We have to set the pace. We have to lead the way. Because them young people wouldn't come and set no pace. Or they might like what I say, but I know I talk about.
Well, Uncle Mike, thanks for your contribution. I'm not going to say that we don't like to listen. I'll tell you something that we used to do at church. We would have gone to Creek. We would have gone to Ponderosa, Spring Creek, Francis Lane. We went to different parts of the community because we don't believe that our village council is supposed to be the people coming to meet the village council. We believe that the village council is supposed to go and meet the people, right? Because we have, different arteries in the community. And so to have something just centralized, yes, the building will be there, because that's what that is there now. But that doesn't mean to say that the village council must only keep meeting here. Because we have to meet the people at the need, wherever they might be. And that's what we were doing. That's part of what our initiative was, what our drive was. And I believe that if, when this thing is revamped, we have to do that. So if we're talking about considering now going out, then maybe that's what we have to do. Maybe we have to go out, meet the different young people in the areas, meet the different people in different areas, right? And put something together and then call one general meeting, whereby, we could have two things. One thing to be fast, because now they will have an understanding like what this thing is what happened. This thing is not politics, right? While yes, we know everything is politics, but this thing is not politics. The real aggressive politics when we look into votes, this is not what this is about. If we are waiting to look for votes, then we are wait until 2029, going into 2030, and then we know we're looking for votes. But this is not what we mean. We are to go running within 6 months of a new regime, of a new minister, we here, right? As I raised my hand, I see Shakira watching that. I remember Shakira, all the hard work, all the music, all the shows, One time I gave you this in the community, we honor mothers as the village council. I had so much fun memories. We honor Jaru, right? Unfortunately, much people didn't come out to support that from the community because of what issues. But we have a band, when Jaru leads one, they will tell people they're from nowhere, and tell people they're from one room. Jaru just fly one room flag high. And anywhere I go on the talking field, I the top guy. I'm promoting, I'm trying to look for no sponsorships for them. So, but those under the front of boys will know that Jaru always flies the flag of one, not just something. And the small band, and they've been in the trenches, they've been knocking on the door, they've been doing what they're doing for years. And even if we have to have Jaru in the community center teaching something, I know them fellas willing to do something. I just have conversations with them, and they're always willing to do something. Right? We have Miss Leslie who is no longer teaching, but she does her thing where she's on the central road. She's now doing a solar farming, a pilot project. Right? We have so much that we could bring. We have so much that we could do. But this thing is not just being doing all the talking. We need some other people to.
All right, let's good night again, ladies and gentlemen. Conversation is what we want to see in our community center. So utilizing the opportunity because all the boys are going to be everyday politics. And walking and talking to young people, I must say, I'm being out and about something that we could actually take into consideration when it comes to our community center, as much as we're talking about auditoriums and stuff. I hear Mr. Chucky mention something because me and my wife was amazed when you go point and you see the amount of the village group and only hear Mr. Chucky say that was that one time and was the champion in that. I'm saying our community center, our state academic center accommodate that. Our sister Shakira, she does give us a lot of children that practice a lot of different activities. So we must have a stage that can accommodate easily access and all these things. One conversation that I really hear people talking about is walking one road and going through the communities. Have young people who actually have conversation with me that actually ask when they're talking to the politicians, we want altar class. And for a young man my age to stand up and look at me in my face and tell me that means that the young people is listening. If I might actually tell them get forward here tonight. Young people is watching. And young people understand what was done to them over the years. The fact that election is over. Look at the time, we have 6 months here. And our member of parliament and his crew continue to be out and about. Don't feel the young people in accepting it. Don't feel they're taking it. What we have to do is create the environment.
That's it.
Hence the reason for the conversation. This is why we want the adult here and see your voice. Is an impact tonight. Everybody who spoke here and everybody who showed up here is an impact tonight. It shows every young person. Look, we going to say and all in the back day. When we talking about the that we have everything in one road. Every single thing in one road. So this year, I just said that we utilize it. People ask for altar class. We're talking cooking. So when we're talking cooking and we're setting up a kitchen, we're talking state of the art because that's people who do baking. We don't want to, we're talking about the PA system. We don't want to wait one thing. We just be dealing with it because for important and especially one road. We deliver musicians. You understand? So we want the best out of the best and the best. That is just my question.
Yes, because we did
Woodward would have produced over there so many people to make us peaceful. But the question is continuity. Because some of us would want to pass the battle on to ensure that others will take that battle and carry it another distance into the future. You know? And that's why one of the reasons I keep on it, yeah, we need the younger people. The older ones will do their time. The older ones will to offer their experiences, you know. But the older ones must be able to take, must not be the ones to take the thing and carry it forward. We want you. You know, many, I'm surprised here that we are asking for the younger ones. There are many communities where the older ones want to hold on. They want to hold on. They want to let go. You understand? Because as I say, I've been there, done that. And there are times when I, you know, and I would, the other classes or the literacy classes, as you want to call them, I think I will go by itself. The literacy classes, we have considered that is part of our thing because, you know, sometimes people who are not very literate, they tend to want to blend into the shadows and not willing to come forward. Right? But we are willing to accommodate everyone in our program because that's one of the things that I have on the books. We have to do these things to ensure that our community move forward. In our community, we don't know what to be left behind. And you want to look upon that one as that one has this and that one has that. Everybody has a skill. Everybody has something to contribute. You understand? There are things that people do that I cannot do and I'm not willing to do it. You understand? There are things that I might be able to do and some people they cannot do it. But that doesn't mean to say you cannot aspire to get there. You understand? So we need people, we need you, we need everybody to come forward and contribute. And I would be, one of the things I would want to see tonight, as the young lady said, I would want to see people tonight that say, listen, I am going to offer myself if it is a pioneer group, if it is to say that we will start so that we'll be able to move forward. We leave here tonight knowing that we would have put together a group of people who are willing to take the first step in the rebuilding. Yes, the others who are there will contribute. But if I know that the people here you have to come forward to ensure that we go where we want to. Yeah? Totally. So I hope that tonight people will offer themselves and say, well, listen, I want to be part of it. I am willing to contribute. I might be in this grouping that is willing to take the thing forward. So it's still open. So it's still open. So it's still open. Yes. So yes, that's a good idea. Be nice at it. I'm willing to offer my services and whosoever, I know that challenge here right now, whosoever willing to bring him, come and stand up here. This is our community. Right? I remember when we was doing function, the committee, they asked for what type of center did you want? We asked for kitchen, we asked for a conference room, we asked for a main hall, we asked for a library, we asked for a room where you have a lot of single parents in the community that if you care on courses, one of the major problems we identified was they have kids. We're going to see what it is. We're going to leave it. You could have a room where they could have a daycare, probably, who knows? And there are a lot of things going on. Right? And guys would have tested, a lot of people have tested. We have got shows in the world for Memorial, for Valentine's Day, for what I mean that.
for Independence Day, right? When we had honored tributary Jalus, we had 5 other team bands, Farallon bands, who came and offered their services too. So, the gentleman from Springfield who spoke and yes, he wants to on that team.
No. I mean, my kind of product of
Yeah. I like what you were saying, and I want you to be part of it. The start.
right again. So, the reason why I am speaking this way, very passionate, because I feel, and I'll be honest here, if every time you have a position and you over time frame in that position, and you're not looking to pass on about like because of the sales, I mean to say that don't come as fast. I'm not arguing about it, but the reality is that in order for you to bring in new blood, there must be something attractive enough. Somebody selling something that's actually bringing you to create an environment. And I'll be honest here, look what's going on here. There's not even numbers are looking at them. If you need to reach the young people like myself, if somebody's educated, what do you need to do? Bring something that is inviting, welcoming. You have a discussion here, all here is fine. But what I'm saying is that no matter interest in how you're really violent, if we ask the counselor, we ask the MP, we ask the mayor for something, and they don't do it in a timely manner, 101%, we get it done. What about the income share with you? Then I understand where the whole was so big that ambulance was going to rescue someone and that we rescue. In that same conversation, I told the coroner, counselor, you know there, if the ambulance can hold up and can pass, unless you pass like that. That's the reality. So I am in my area right now, I am not asking nobody. I'm not taking nobody. And you have to understand where the area is changing. We need to demand things. I saw a vision, I saw a 3D drawing with this community center already. What I'm saying is that how many people could have telling us we go to get it center, yes. But how this center will be maintained? How it's going to be progressive? How it's going to help? One of you might start off, yes, but the structure must be strong. In other words, now I've been honest here. How many young people have small businesses going on about? You have 10 booths, still going on. You can have 10 booths, there must be better say here going on. We have generated $10,000 for this month. Within that $10,000, you know going to really put on like you're going to generate 2 more booths. The last thing about business. The reason why we are starting at a lower level for so long because we are not venomous. I took a long totally guidance. But let's take that too. We asked some people in position about 60 million warning road by Sherry Charlie by the man who can come down with this thing like Terry my father. And they didn't do it, you know what I did? I took my van, I took material from the highway and pulling over there by young wife and 3 young kids. And every honest after that don't happen. So I fix the road, the same over but if you have that the infrastructure, the foundation, the hospital. Not to stop thinking about ourselves and stop asking and begging for things and try to make demand. You want to hear something I want to tell you what is very important? Where all the power come from? So, where on the majority of oil and gas is coming from, but that might not be true. This, south. But I'm asking you, how could you all sit down here and 150 years have passed? Because they know why we are not developed. There's an old engineer at some point, and these guys are going, how much was the infrastructure? What the dream mission said? When you have the dream, where does it go? For the same. Now, we already said that my son is something small, but it's what I'm saying. If there are kids who pass in this area every week, I am guaranteed right now. Boy, trust man, I full respect, but only go by idea how big water is right now. Interest is like a parasite right now. For the schedule, we go straight to Capitol, and the jury going to hear even from one road. And there's so much of people, we don't even have a database for skilled workers, but we want work. You must be able to think proactive and reactive. What I'm asking you, if you have to have a fight, you must fight and wouldn't fight. We sit down here, but we need to put pen to paper. get the people in the area who pass here every day. Put up a notice board, we want to build a database for employment, take down people's names, you start with that. When the construct, before the constructor come, make sure let them read out the agreement. You want this or you want that. Because you would have signed a construction agreement with the government to get it done. I'm not going to block the roads now. Listen to me carefully. If you must fight the fight, you must fight a winning fight. You have to understand we need to get things in perspective to move forward. After the guy, Jeremy Boyd, was a wooden wheel and Senator Rubber. And he came for the open door up. So why somebody in this area forwarding is the Hollywood Johnson straight to capital? It has no guys manufacture. You know that there's a grant for over $100,000 for manufacturing. You know a grant for more than $100,000 for farming. But we don't have the conversation because you know why? You have to give a heart and lungs and a kidney before you get those things. You know the reason why I'm going to tell you the truth. We don't pay attention to things going nothing necessary to me because you know why that's directly affecting us. But they say, do you know that if you didn't fix the road, you will not get to the country? So I'm telling you, what you need to do is see this grant, this information, this accessibility to things before the committee send a reach of that progress, that stage. We just put the infrastructure before, put the foundation in place. Stop letting these guys down, stop letting things just run past work. Stop putting notice sign. Everybody have a phone and WhatsApp. Look at it, screaming to give them information. If they don't come, all fair and fine. They can't pass a job test, all fair and fine. But they give them opportunity. They cannot say they didn't get an opportunity. And the law me hold on, let me tell you what we really going on here. If we don't get this thing involved with our job or something right now, you're on the whole. Because my son was born as a doctor. And when you ask me to send up prayers, you are in this one. Please talk about religion. What are we doing that? You want to take it from. Community center is all kinds of possible, but we need to be sustainable. Self-sufficient. We'll be generating our income like a business. There's that this guy in America, right in America, but he's a business-driven guy. You know what he did? He took money in 2021 billion dollars and gave it to the people. Why is America still running right now? Because you know what? We need to run this country, this area, where people are like a business, to make money to survive, to give us strength and generational wealth. How are we going to do it? Everybody have an idea, but who's going forward in this? Who's sacrificing?
People of Warden Road, I would like you to welcome our Member of Parliament, Minister of the Coronation, and he's our local Member of Parliament. And I think that as arrived, well, as gentlemen also, we need all these things, we need to start somewhere. And right now, we have a group of people somewhere, and we will start it, right? And we hope to continue it after the show. We will need to exchange numbers, we will call one another, and we will organize that even we will meet, and Mr. Daniel, and Mr. Shafran will give you feedback as to what we think. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, hi, everyone. My name is Ronald. Well, I want to go there from Warden. I want to make something short. And how we talk about going forward in the center and in the country. I want to say something about that. People in Warden Road politics too. What is happening here is something we have to do this like a champion. What is around us is that bringing our people together. If it's on a Saturday, we spend 2 hours and we go around the community, working to see if we perform what we call we moving on to securing the center. Because if we don't have a correct team to start with and put things in place, to move on, all what we talk about here tonight could never happen. So the beginning is, it's collective team, get together,
and put a date that on Saturday evening when anybody home, maybe go forward in the evening, we move around and see if we can correct that in the program. Thank you very much. Yes. So people, huh?
Let's get like, I just want to I just want to bring something here. Take care. Yeah. I understand your concern, but I think we need to stay connected to what is actually being done. Right? I understand the high staff, years and neglect, and even reach as far back as before, and what you were dealing with before sporting. But I think you need to pay attention. You're going to have something here where anybody in the former administration could call me. Me and the lovely wife had the opportunity to go and sit down with the gentleman that signs off the grant. Signs off, you remember? In a particular ministry. You remember when you sign off and no nothing? Right. That gentleman called us in because he was on social media encouraging the people to apply for it. When I met the former member of parliament, he told me that people don't get through with things so. And when I had already spoken with the man who signed in the check. This man calling me and my wife 1.4 to come to San Fernando in his office and put us down. Ask us if the point 14 had a real picture. I didn't understand the question when he asked the question. He said, like, I have big shot and point 14. The boy is right there, no time. And I mentioned this enough time on social media. I said, what do you mean? The man tell me in his history, mind me, this man only worked over a decade. In his history, is the most that our grants that he has ever gotten from point 14. And we've already had a list with over 250 people who applied for grants for over 15 years. Understand the level of damages that we dealing with. Let me tell you something about that. I see the member of parliament, whether he show up or not, his team is diligently out there taking the information. The only how we can get anything done, the information has to be combined, which you say is true. And it must be represented. This is our member of parliament responsibility. You see, everybody who show up here tonight, it shows that we endorse the community center. It shows that we endorse the betterment for point 14. And based on how Ghana started the conversation, it shows that we don't concern who shortchange us in the past. We're picking up the pieces and we're moving forward.
Right, so.
I don't mean to ignore the MP's presence and all that's the nice too, but since the drama in it, we can't pretend like we didn't hear the brother's plight. So basically, we hope and we trust that your motivation to activate that sense of independence and entrepreneurial spirit and drive among the residents of Board Road that plea will not fall on their head.
Because just like yourself, I'm listening to that you brought this down. You know, I get one job because we just do little things too. Like 100 and something thousand, and we compile about 25 young fellas from the community and take all our money we brought in and have to train them blasting and painting and putting structures and safety that other people should keep. I've been in it for years. It's a rare people been doing it. So you see this structure here, whether this is needed, it is so important. I understand it is fun that. But listen to me, every young people you talk to, partners, we nowhere close to the next election. Nowhere close. And our member of parliament and team is back and about in the community, asking and encouraging the people to come. Despite who you vote for, come. Then we get it done. It must be done. And I just wanted to add that.
I know what the commission because I like that I think education for everybody. And you can have a PhD and still be around. That's the reality. That's what I do. So what I think I was really stressed around is the fact that and I keep saying unfortunately most of them reach a result of these people are grants, whatever you want to do, access to it. If you have a community center like in this area, and once per week, twice a week, a ministry can come, I'm representing them. Somebody can come. Yeah. Because I want to bring it as small as you don't understand. In my area, why to wait to live teacher, we don't have staff, we don't have to know. But you know we have hardware, we are pushing. So, you send cash, you do it back the same way. When you say provide, what I'm saying is that if somebody center running, I will support 100%. But finance ministry, for someone is, then I'm going to this for them, moving forward. So it gives them an opportunity. You want to do this more dream. Basketball, and we're going forward. If my son, they must have it easier than me. That's the direction I want to go. So that is saying over, we go all these places all over Finland. If I want to places, they have more, they have places. So this center is a well-established, well-lit place. So we cannot have a community center as Mr. Shopman says, and they calling this one with the key, and that one asking, no. You have an email address, if you have grievances, you move with them and you move forward. I understand everybody wants to support the village council, but from experience, you need to have people have a little experience in a field before you put them in a position. Because if you don't do that, what is going to be set up for failure? I understand you want to say, yes, this time is important, everybody say no problem. But you need to have a little skill or a little experience in your field, because if you give them that opportunity and they don't have that, you're going to catastrophic. So that's my whole thing. I just want it better, man. So my kids will have it better than me.
All right. So our member of parliament is here. So without much transference with everyone, I'll bring him, put him, so he will speak with you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, and pleasant night to be here. So pleasant night, everyone. Pleasant night, and thank you for coming out. Well, I don't know all that was said, but I would just like to share, first of all, the deep gratitude for coming out on this. Maybe the first of a couple. Not too much talk though, because as another thing we will do well in sort of point, we like to talk plenty, and then after talking, nothing happening.
Right.
So that is a normal thing that we have grown accustomed to. And then just before elections, you see, I will come and give us some time, clear some road, and then ask people to come again. Unfortunately, everybody expecting from this event here, we're not going to get it. We're going to be working continuously right through 24 until we are able to give point forty and people at point 40 are able to get exactly what we deserve. That's just not a political pitch here. Secondly, I have spoken quite recently to the Minister of Community Development, that's Mr. Michelle Benjamin. And I told her what is the desire for this fiscal, which is working out the community center. That is the desire. And she's an agreement. However, I don't share the point that I'm not from Morton Road. And I'm glad I walked into the conversation where the young man is saying that, listen, I don't want to see a normal community center. I want to see something that is fit for purpose, that it meets the needs of the community, that has a business. Those are very excellent suggestions. But we have to reach a point where we are agreeing on how the thing will look, how it's going to configure, what is going to happen in the center, and so on. Because, let's face it, maybe the traditional community center might not be what is applicable now. We are in a space right now where unemployment is extremely high. But what that has done since COVID-19 is that created persons now who are more business-minded. Communities, a lot of people have set up shops, people doing other types of small businesses, selling food, crafts, involved in services, other small contractors have developed and so on. This area, fortunately, has a repository of all of what I just said. And I'm simply saying that maybe it is time now that in establishing a big facility as a community center, letting